Welcome, fight fans, to episode 28 of the Hooks End MMA podcast. This is our third episode released within a week, so buckle up. We got a big pay-per-view coming up this weekend. First, on today's episode, we'd like to welcome Matt Steam Rolla Frevola. He's a lightweight in the UFC, fighting Saturday night on the main card of the McGregor-Poirier pay-per-view. He's fighting undefeated Ottman Azatar. And next up, we've got Canadian Alex Martinez coming off a big finish here in Mexico in the Icon Fighting Federation 4. He's 7-0 and hopes to make the call up to the UFC soon. Of course, heading into hot headline news, recapping that banger of a card last weekend with Max Holloway's impressive performance, touch on the free episode that happened this Wednesday, and then, of course, looking ahead to Saturday night, getting ahead of that book, we've got easy lines breaking down UFC 257. So get your Bet365 accounts up and those parlays locked and loaded. Zoni, kick us off with some hot headline news.
Yeah, last Saturday, waiting for that Holloway and Qatar fight. Going into it, boxing seemed to be, what everyone was saying, that Qatar had over Holloway. Going into it, you gave him definitely a puncher's chance. But Max has been in there with everybody, and we've stated that on our podcast many times. Poirier and Aldo a couple times, and McGregor. He's been in there with everyone. So I don't think he was phased at all going into this fight with Qatar. And he clearly showed it. It was one of the best 5-round complete performances I've ever seen, I've ever watched in my entire life. And the best part for me was, just he's a volume fighter, but in the fifth round, he's backing up. He's looking at DC. He's looking at Felder. He's looking at people outside the cage and just chirping with them back and forth. He's yelling at Qatar, knocking him in the face, saying, "I'm the best boxer in the UFC. I'm the best boxer." And then he steps back and misses it, dodges like 3-4 punches from Qatar while yelling out, not even looking at him. Then he throws a jab. Like, it was just a complete performance, and I can't wait to see what's next. It's either, a number one eliminator against Zabit, or he's looking for these legendary fights. Could he fight Khabib? I think that's unlikely. Somebody in the lightweight division, possibly he could mix it in with them. Or he could fight the winner of Ortega and Volkanovski. But excited to see him back in. He wants to fight, and an amazing performance.
Yeah, definitely just a legendary performance, like you said, by Max Holloway. Certainly one we expected on easy lines. We'll talk about that later. But, he proved there's levels to this game, right? And, he really showed it against Cater there, who, like you said, was supposed to come in with this amazing boxing. I know lots of guys online, some of our competition saying that Cater's going to be, the next thing, he's going to be able to outbox him. Obviously didn't happen, wasn't even close, right? And I think I could even see when they walked up to each other. It was in the stare down as well, but even when they walked up, right when the refs explained the rules or whatever, Cater did not look confident at all. He knew he was going to get beat up. Unfortunately, he toughed it out. Amazing for him. A great performance on his out. I'm not putting that down at all, but I think he knew kind of going into the fight was going to be a little bit outclassed. So yeah, next up for Holloway is Zabit. Amazing matchup, but I don't know. I think at this point he deserves the winner of Ortega and Volkanovski. Like, you just give him the next belt fight. I think he deserves it. He's one of my top 5 favorite fighters in UFC right now. So yeah, let's give it to him.
Yeah, I agree with the title fight next. Another thing that was crazy though about that fight, have you guys ever seen a 50-42 card before, or scorecard?
No.
Never. That's got to be a record too. That nobody talks about that, but a 50-42 is crazy. 3 10-8 rounds.
That speaks to Qatar's chin, right? Like,
okay.
Oh,
his chin, his rib cage. He took so many shots to the ribs. What are his ribs made of?
His heart too.
Yeah.
Just to have that will.
Then it comes into, like, some of the people were saying after, like, it could have been up to the corner to throw in the towel there. Like, going into the 5th round, he needed a knockout. He was getting killed. Like, is he going to knock him out? Well, no. So let's save these next 5 minutes for him and make his career a little longer. Like, who knows?
Especially when he ate 145 strikes in the 4th round.
Yeah.
That's more than most total 5-round fights have landed in the whole fight, let alone 1 round. That's crazy.
Unbelievable pace.
So do you guys hear this stat? Max had more significant strikes in that fight than Figueiredo does in his entire UFC career.
Wow.
Like landed, you mean? Like landed?
Yeah. 6 strikes landed. More in one fight than Figgy, the title holder, has in his UFC, and Volkanovski and Volk.
So that's disgusting. But the only thing I'd like back up Figueiredo with is that just talks about he's more of a quick finish, one punch knockout power. Different fighters,
Volk,
but
the Volk stat though.
Yeah, no, that's unbelievable.
That's true. That's
disgusting.
Considering they fought twice as well, right? Like,
right.
Yeah. So that's, but like Volkanovski, that made Volkanovski look really good as well. Max Holloway's performance there, right? Like the fact that, again, Holloway, again, lots of people said he won that last fight. I would agree with, or certainly easily argued. It could have gone either way, but it proves how good Volkanovski is, right? If Mal Holloway is able to fucking touch up Kattar like that, he's, like I said, he's on another level. So pretty exciting stuff in that featherweight division.
Yeah. So just, to touch on yesterday, just a couple quick things. Chiesa had a great game plan and performance against Magny. He dominated, not by, touching him up too much, but he controlled the fight. He deserves somebody in the top, I don't know, 7 or 8 in the welterweight division next. You can throw out a few names. Who knows? I can't even think of any. Like somebody like RDA, but I think that fight's already happened, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he called out Colby Covington.
Colby Covington. Yeah. I mean, they're kind of similar styles, but I think Colby has a better pace. So I don't know if I like that for Chiesa, but he has won 4 in a row and deserves somebody relevant and on the upswing. So we'll see what happens there. And just a shout out to, someone we talked to and had on our podcast, Mike Davis, fight of the night, 50K. Congrats for him. And that was just an all out war. It was a great fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really awesome to see.
The other crazy thing that happened last Saturday, the hype train derailed in a big way. Joaquin Buckley knocked out by a head kick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What was he? -5 that fight?
Yeah. Alessio Di Chirico, and he was on a 3-fight losing streak and had one of the oddest post-fight conversations ever, saying, "Oh, well, nobody interviewed me, so that's wrong. I was on the losing streak, and I'm not going to talk to you now." It's pretty.
And he cut the press conference short. Said he's going to make a statement. He's not talking to these guys. Just left.
And Dana White said he walked past him and his team, and they just looked at him. And they said, "What the fuck are you looking at?" And Dana White's like, "Holy shit." He's like, "What's wrong with these guys? You thought they just lost." But then the funny part is that he actually still gave him 50K for knockout of the night after saying that.
Oh, how do you not? That was a crazy knockout. Nobody saw that coming.
Well, if you tell the boss to get the fuck out of here, what are you looking at? I don't know. But
yeah, the fighting biz is probably the only place you can say that and still get paid, right? So
maybe Dana likes that.
Yeah, respect. Yeah.
He likes the talkers, that's for sure, right? And but I think someone made the point. Davidson, who rest in peace from this podcast, but he said, I think that they don't interview those guys anymore because they get knocked out. They're like getting KO'd. They're beat up. They lost for a reason. So that's the reason why they don't interview them anymore. They used to do that. So it was kind of.
You just got knocked into outer space. How are you feeling right now? Like, what do you expect the guys to say that?
Like, what's next for you? Like, having dinner out of the fucking straw? Like, you can ask.
Yeah. I'm going to go cry in the corner for about a week. Like, what do you want? Like, so.
Those bright lights are fucking with me.
Like, Cormier was crying. Like, Rogan was interviewing him after, like, the John Jones. Again, like, just because he was. I mean, certainly he was emotional, but like, he didn't know where he was half the time as well. Like, that's unfair to the guy. So Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So we had the press conference today,
Yeah.
just to bring that up. What did you guys think of that today?
Z-Balls, you had some thoughts. Let's hear them.
The nice Conor McGregor is in everyone's head. I don't know how he does it, but he seems to always play some sort of angle that, kind of fucks with the guy. Like, what it kind of reminded me of with like Dustin and him today was it's kind of like meeting your high school bully, but he's a good guy now. He's like a nice person now, and you don't know how to feel about it or whatever. Like, you didn't know how to react. And so it was kind of just like a nervous energy I was feeling from Dustin there. But certainly, it was a well-hearted, good-hearted, kind of press conference. They're all kind of little complimenting each other and stuff like that. Pretty professional. Pretty entertaining still. Conor had, a few lines that I liked. Hooker certainly with his line on Charles Olives, as he likes to, Chael Sonnen calls him Charles Olives. That's where that meme started from. But, he said he's, I've seen broomsticks thicker than him before. Doesn't believe he, can't make that 155. I thought that was pretty funny. I laughed out loud at that line as well. I thought it was good. I'm excited for these fights. I mean, these are two huge fights coming up this weekend. So very excited and kind of, happy with the way the guys presented themselves as well today.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Something I noticed, though, is Chandler doesn't seem to have much of a sense of humor. Hooker's talking about that Charlie Olives not being able to make weight and being a broomstick, and they have Chandler's face up there. He's just stone-faced, doesn't even react to it.
No, he's not. Go ahead, Zone. Sorry.
I was just going to say, it could be like, this is like big lights for him. Like, he's been fighting in Bellator since his like third or fourth mixed martial arts fight. Like, and Bellator is big, but it's not UFC big. It's certainly not McGregor. It's certainly not Fight Island big. Maybe he just, he's trying to stay composed and just, he's not relaxed. Maybe he's just, tense, and who knows if that'll lead over to the fight. But I think he was very serious. And I think he's just trying to take all this in. Like, he's sitting right next to Conor. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's like it's a big moment for him in his career for sure.
Yeah, one thing I did notice when he faced off with Hooker there, he's small. He looks like he could make 145. He doesn't look like he should be in the 155 division.
Well, with his thickness, he can. He's definitely he's lacking the length. He's lacking the length.
Hooker looked thicker than him standing there. Obviously, they're wearing shirts and stuff, but he looked a lot bigger than Chandler.
Yeah, you're right. The height difference is quite noticeable there. But, I see what Zone's coming from, too. He's a little bit thicker, but, yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later on. But what I liked with those two, what I saw, they had the most synchronized handshake after the stare down that I've ever seen between fighters. Go back and take a look at that.
I saw that. That was good.
It was like Snoop Dogg and like Dr. Dre were just slapping hands. It was actually kind of jokes between like,
or like baseball,
opponents.
Like after a home run, you come with your buddy in the dugout and do your little home run handshake.
Yeah, it actually looked like that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, guys are going to say it's scripted online now. Whoever wins are going to say, oh yeah, they knew, they set this up or some conspiracy theories. But no, I mean, that's obviously the most exciting, or well, I believe the most exciting fight. We'll get into that later, but yeah, quite the matchup there. Anything else? What else? Anything else?
I got a funny story just kind of seen on Instagram. Not sure if you guys saw it, but I guess McGregor was getting interviewed by a lady, and he's like looking out the window and he starts laughing, and it was just a side to McGregor I've never seen before, to your point, Z-Balls, about seeing him being nice and stuff. So the clip is something like, he's looking out the window. He's like, I think I just saw Max Holloway go by on a skateboard. And the lady's like, yeah, he's been skateboarding like all week. He's like, and he starts howling. He's like, that's amazing. He's like, I love that guy. And I guess he's just been riding around fucking Fight Island on a skateboard all week, like celebrating his win.
Yeah, exactly. And Conor loves that energy, right? It seems like it's not about the money anymore for him. It's not about the belts. He talked about that in the press conference. He doesn't care about that shit anymore. It's like, it's his legacy. He wants to be watching a highlight reel with his son, 30 years from now, saying, look what dad did. Like, fucked all these like ridiculous things.
Highlights.
Right? Tyson, highlight reel, right? That's what he wants. That's what he cares about now. And that's why guys are scared to fight him. Like, obviously, because, you know, in his mind, he has nothing to lose, but he's also the most confident fucking guy out there as well. So it's like, how do you really beat that? You can't beat that mindset. It's really tough. So, this new version of Conor is somehow even scarier than the mean version of him somehow. I don't know.
And he said something really, really interesting that got me thinking he actually truly is motivated for this. He was like, people keep asking me, why do you want to be here? You got all this money. And he goes, they're telling me I'm richer than Dana over here.
Why are you here right now?
Why are you here right now? He's like, can it not just be because I want to be here? I like doing it for the fans.
And then Dana had a slow, but then a huge smile after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He didn't laugh at it quite at first, but then he was when Conor went into like people were asking like, why am I here? Then he started laughing. He's like, as soon as Conor mentioned money, he was like, shut up. Like, I have a lot of money. Don't let everyone know. Like, but then once Conor started making fun of it, right? Then he was like, oh yeah, I have baby money compared to you, Conor. Yes. Like, you know, so I know that was a fun exchange as well.
I know Kronz is excited, and so am I to try Poirier's hot sauce, though. We'll see what.
Yeah, with McGregor distribution coming soon.
Yeah.
If you get knocked out by Conor, he's going to distribute whatever product you endorse. So that's the complimentary prize.
I don't know if you guys saw, but if you buy Dustin's hot sauce right now, you get it signed by him. They have like a limited quantity of them, but
nice.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Head to heatness.com and get your bottle today.
Free promo. We are not sponsored. We're not sponsored by anyone. I don't know if you guys can tell, but we're not sponsored by anyone. But Ray, we're looking for it. So DM us if you
let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Might be
promote you for cheap.
Might be time to get ahead of that book.
Yeah, we got about 20 minutes left here. 22 minutes. Big card, stack card. So I know we got a ton of analysis to share. Z-Balls, how's your gut feeling here, buddy?
Pretty good this weekend, I think. Well, you know, I think it's a little bit of a top-heavy card a little bit, so we'll be mainly focusing on those like main event and co-main events. But before we get into that, I want to quickly recap last week. You ended up with 4 wins, 4 losses. Certainly not the best performance, obviously, but although we were completely correct in the main and co-main event fights. You know, we told you to go Holloway to win, and by decision as well for him. You know, we had a little luck there, certainly, you know, right? The ref nor Calvin's corner really saw fit to stop the fight, even though everyone else did. So we cashed in on that and the over. Condit had a solid win as well over Brown. We got correct. Just Santiago and Buckley getting finished like that. Huge upsets were very surprising. So, you know, we're going with 50% win rate in 2021, 62% career, and hungry to climb up those ranks going into this weekend. We have 2 huge fights, as I said, main and co-main event fights on this pay-per-view card. Main event, you know, is of course the highly anticipated lightweight bout between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. McGregor is a good size favorite coming in here at -334, Poirier +250. I'm going with McGregor in this fight as well, you know. Get him right now if you can as well, if you are leaning on him, because that line is continuing to drop. Him to finish -200 is the best value I see here. Really, you can parlay that with a few things we're going to talk about later on as well. Those of you who know me, you know I love Poirier, certainly one of my favorite fighters in the UFC, and it pains me to go against them here. But I'm going to have to in this spot, certainly. You know, no question he's improved immensely everywhere since he last faced McGregor, especially in his boxing, but so has McGregor, unfortunately, for Dustin in this situation. Conor's strength is his counter punching. That's exactly what Poirier is going to give him as a boxing match, I believe. Poirier loves to kind of come forward, put pressure on his opponents with his technical boxing, strong power for this 155 division. That's going to play right into Conor's game, I believe. You know, this is kind of a similar style matchup, actually, when Conor faced off with Nate Diaz. You know, another southpaw boxer as well. Only Nate has a better chin than Poirier, really. You know, he's taller and longer as well. You know, not the same power that Poirier has, though. As long as Conor can stay away from a brawl, you know, I think he kind of takes this easy. Taking a look at the rounds for Conor to finish, first round +162, second round +400. Yet the over which means over 1.5, which means halfway through the second round is a minus 120. Something's not quite adding up to me here. The book's basically saying 50% chance this fight goes past the 2.5 round, 2.5 minute mark of the second round. Yet Conor to finish in the first round is plus 162. I think the second round at plus 400. I think it dropped down to plus 375 today. So get on here as well with me before it starts dropping too low. I think has excellent value. Dan Hooker almost finished Poirier by the end of the second round himself in their last fight. So I definitely think Conor will be able to. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling for this fight, guys. It's a huge fight. What are you guys thinking?
I completely agree with you, Z, and I like the comparison with the Diaz fight. A reason that I think this is going to be even better for McGregor is that Diaz, when he fights, he's a good boxer, but he fights long and he stands off kind of angled. Like he keeps that lead hand out front, the backhand coming over the top. Poirier likes to really square up. When he comes in, he throws hooks and he completely squares up, which is a terrible idea to do against McGregor, who can change distance going forward and backwards so fast. Like coming backwards to switching forward. As soon as you square up, you lose that mobility for forwards and backwards. You got good lateral mobility, but I feel like that's going to be bad for Poirier. He's going to square up, and McGregor's just going to crack him with something.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup for Poirier. Just to explain quickly to add to this, McGregor always sets up what he's going to do. He's basically one step ahead. He's going to throw the spinning wheel kicks, the spinning kicks to get you going one way, and then he wants you to come back the other way to set up his left. I think that Poirier's number one thing is, knowing this going into this fight is not lasting the first round. He's still going to fight, but he's going to stay away from the power hand. That's why I actually really like what you said with the second round. Like you can do that right off the get-go, but sometimes your instincts will go back to, what you're used to doing. So you can avoid that for a bit, but can you do it for a long time? I don't know. So I actually really like that second round finish, but I do think Conor finishes him.
Yep. One of those ones where you want the underdog to win, at least for me, but don't really feel confident that that'll happen. I'm thinking this one, I'm kind of leaning on the over. Kind of to your point, Zoni, about, first round should be a little more conservative, right? There's a big spotlight on this pay-per-view. The last thing both of those fighters want is to get knocked out in 20 seconds or something crazy, right? Because then they're living in infamy for the rest of their career. So I don't know. I think last week was a great example, right, of those two co-headlines just being wars and going the distance. And I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes all 5. Will I bet on that? Maybe a little bit, but I'm kind of leaning more to like what Z was saying, like over 1.5 rounds, perhaps going a little heavier on over 2.5 to get better value. But yeah, I don't know. I feel it's a competitive fight. It is tilted towards McGregor, but I think it's going to be maybe closer than people think.
Yeah, I think one other factor too that I was just thinking of was the last 4 fights for McGregor: Diaz, Khabib,
Cowboy,
and Roney. All of them have very good ground games. Obviously, Khabib is the best, but Diaz and Cowboy both really good BJJ practitioners. McGregor had to worry a little bit about getting taken down. He had to be a little bit more conservative with his striking. I don't think he's got to worry about that with Poirier. I think if Poirier even does try to take him down, and even if he gets him down, McGregor's getting right back up immediately. I don't think it's going to be much more than a quick break for Poirier, which will allow McGregor to open up more with those crazy spinning kicks and stuff that he likes to throw.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I think, as we already said, Poirier's only way to win here, I think he's got to stick and move in that first round, get Conor tired, get his cardio down. And he's like one of those, I think, fast twitch muscles or whatever they call it, right? He's very explosive, very athletic, but, that zaps your energy going into the third, fourth round. He proved against Nate Diaz, that he was able to last, but even that was a very close round or close fight. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting for sure. I think a lot of different things could happen. I think Connor kind of won that mental game today, which kind of, pushed me a little bit even further onto his side. I'm starting to even worry about that first round knockout. But as I said, leaning on the second, I think Dustin at least gets there. Going into the next one, though, just as an exciting fight, in terms of matchup here in the lightweight division, it's between Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler. Of course, Chandler, first fight coming over from Bellator here. Dan Hooker is a current, very slight favorite at -138. Chandler's a +125. I think this is a very kind of tough matchup for me to call. I'm not going to go too heavy on this one right now for me, I think, but certainly, I'm going to be leaning on Dan Hooker in this fight. That's if I have to choose someone, I'm choosing Dan Hooker here. I can't go against his UFC experience. Chandler has obviously fought some very tough guys before, high-level UFC caliber guys like Benson, but Benson was a little bit past his prime at that point. If you compare the list of opponents, certainly there's no question the Hooker's faced like much more skilled guys, basically, right? Will Chandler be able to get inside and get that takedown is the main question here. If he doesn't, I don't see him winning this fight at all, obviously. Even if he does kind of get him down, Hooker's pretty slippery down there, and he's way bigger, and his limbs are long, right? That's kind of something we see here with guys like Israel Adesanya or Alexander Volkov. These guys, tall guys with long limbs for their division. It's kind of hard to control them down there. They got their legs and their arms are so long, right? So not necessarily going to be easy to control Hooker down there, I don't think. Chandler has a big overhand right, though. We all know about that, but I don't think Hooker's going to be falling for that. Now, Chandler comes in with some good feints, sets up some takedowns. We have a real fight here, but again, I don't see that happening. Kind of the opposite, actually. Hooker has amazing feints himself, and I don't think anyone's really used that against Chandler before that I've seen previously in Bellator. No one's really tried feinting him that much, and they've kind of come at Chandler with pretty basic game plans here. So Hooker's extremely high MMA striking game, and that includes defensive takedowns and, watching out for the grappling exchange. Hooker's height, reach advantage combined with that normal kind of 30-foot octagon looks like a great setup to go against Chandler's strengths and play into Hooker's strengths. Hooker to finish +175. Not the greatest value again, considering that pretty much anything can happen in this fight, but that's what I see most likely willing to happen here. Chandler got knocked out by a 145er previously. What's going to happen when Hooker connects on him? I see a little value on this fight not to go to the decision as well at -120. Hooker's all offense, no defense. This is going to be fireworks. It's possible Chandler lands that big overhand right himself at some point, or ground and pounds him for a round or two and finishes it. Again, most likely Hooker sends Chandler's head to the moon, via his patented knees. But that's what I'm going on here, boys. What are you thinking?
I got nothing. Yeah.
Away from that one personally. There's so many unknowns in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm off that one.
Yeah, just excited to see it. Hopefully, it's just a competitive fight, but I do think Chandler can get up underneath him and control him, and that's how he wins this fight, if he does.
Yeah.
Yep, that NCAA wrestling, right? I think that's the X factor in my eyes. Certainly on the ground, Hooker's got the advantage, on the feet, Hooker's got the advantage.
Yeah.
If it goes to ground, Chandler, I think, somehow wins, potentially decision. I like that value. That's where I'm putting my money. I don't want to touch money line because there really isn't much to gain on either there, but I just going out on a limb and going to go Chandler by decision. See what happens. Got about 4 minutes left here. I know we got some plays on some of the undercard or potentially on the main. What are you guys feeling?
I'll go quickly there just to jump on. Again, not so sure on that Hooker Chandler fight. Much more confident in terms of this women's flyweight bout between, Joanne Calderwood and Jessica Eye right now. This is a pick'em fight, but -110, very close matchup with the line moving slightly kind of side to side right now, all during the week. I'm going with Joanne Calderwood in this one. In her last fight, she took on short notice for some reason that I don't really know when she was in line for that title fight against Jennifer Maia. Maya gets tricky on the ground, submits her in the first round. Maya goes on to have a great performance against Valentina Shevchenko, makes Valentina look human for the first time in that flyweight division, right? So we know the story there. I think Calderwood comes back with a chip on their shoulder here for this fight. One of her interviews, she was already saying she can't wait to kind of punch Jessica, kind of get in there, rubs her the wrong way. Jessica only has one win since the beginning of 2019. Calderwood money line, I'm leaning. Her by decision plus 140 looks like some good value as well. I is still a talented fighter, but I see a close decision for Calderwood here. What are you guys thinking?
Couldn't agree more.
Zone, you think I? Give me your best, like, why I? We disagree here, so this is a good thing.
It's basically like, so I's fought for a title. She's been in there, with when things are on the line. She said at a press conference earlier this week that, she couldn't believe how nobody, reached out to her and said, you shouldn't be fighting. She was weighing in for that last fight and she felt so sick. And she said that she shouldn't even have fought. She should have told herself your health is worth more. So she fought and didn't look great. And I think it was due to the health issues. I just think, I think she moved up in weight class, right? For this? Is that correct?
5 still.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 125. Yeah.
Well, maybe she put on a little bit more healthy weight for this, but she seems more healthy and she seems more motivated and more mentally, stable. And she has recovered from that. So I think she also has a chip on her shoulder and has something to prove as well. I think it's going to be a great fight, and the line shows it. It's even money. I'm just leaning towards I.
Totally fair. Well, that's all I got in terms of like my full analysis here for easy lines. So good luck to you guys on those. What about you, Zone? Anything else to add on here?
Just throwing out one there, and I hate betting on the people that I like. But in this case, it's just a value pick. It's something that could happen. One of my favorite fighters, up and coming fighters, Nasrat Haqparast. He's a fairly big underdog against Arman Sarukian. Sarukian's known for, takedown control. He gets a lot of decisions. I think Haqparast, coming off a big win last time out, I think he's going to be able to stop the takedown and to keep it on the feet. And he's not somebody you want to keep it on the feet with. He did get knocked out by Drew Dober, but if you look before that, he's dominant on the feet, great movements, southpaw. As Josh has said before, he's like a mini Gastelum, kind of looks like him too. Really good fighter. And just for the value alone, just a value pick, money line, I could definitely see him pulling off the upset.
Yeah, I know. Just to jump in there very quickly, I agree with that. He shouldn't be that that much of an underdog. So that's a great line to get on.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
I like Rivas by decision as well. I think Z, you were saying that was plus something. I like that one as well. I think she's gonna do well, but a lot of decisions between those two fighters. So
good value there.
Nice. Well, that's it for this episode. Enjoy the pay-per-view this weekend, and best of luck. See you next week.
Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have 1-1 lightweight. He fights on January 23rd against Otman Azatar. Lucky to have on Matt Steamroller Frevola today. How's it going?
It's going good, man. We just got out to Vegas today. We all got tested, and we just did our first little quarantine workout. Feeling good.
Yeah, and you said you fly out on Friday, correct, to Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, they fly us to Vegas today on Wednesday, and then they fly us to Abu Dhabi early Friday morning.
Awesome. Yeah, we're looking forward to those, those first 3 cards coming up. It's been 3 weeks off, so that was pretty long to not have any fights. You're from Huntington, New York. What kind of hobbies did you have growing up, and what ultimately got you into MMA?
Yeah, growing up, I have a twin brother, so we were like competing, doing everything, played a lot of baseball growing up. My first martial arts was Taekwondo. Me and my brother did Taekwondo for a couple of years growing up. And then, played baseball, played football, and then started wrestling. I wrestled in middle school and then in high school. And after I played football, wrestling, and lacrosse when I was in high school, I was a big athlete. And then once I graduated from high school, I played a little college football, a little college lacrosse. And then once that was over, I missed the grappling aspect. So I found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and got linked up with Matt Serra back home in Long Island. And then I transferred to the University of Tampa to continue going to school. And Matt Serra hooked me up with Matt Arroyo down in Tampa, Florida. And that's when I started fighting amateur. And, the rest is history.
Yeah, and Matt Serra's not a bad guy to be linked up with. I'm a massive sports fan, so I got to ask you a couple quick questions here. Mets fan or Yankees fan, or is it somebody else?
Mets all day.
Okay, that's good because I'm an hour south of Toronto, and I'm a big Blue Jay fan. So if you were the Yankees, I don't know. I don't know how this conversation would have went.
No, definitely not Yankees.
That's awesome. What college did you go to for football?
I played college at Dean College, junior college up in Massachusetts.
Awesome.
Played a year of junior college football and then a year of junior college lacrosse. And then that was right around the time I found jiu-jitsu.
Awesome. And position in football?
As a linebacker.
Nice. Attaboy. Yeah, so currently what gym are you training out of, and who's the coaches in your corner for this upcoming fight?
My home is Long Island, New York, so I train with the Sarah Longo team, Ray Longo, Matt Serra, Eric Heyer, and then my longtime coach down in Tampa, Florida, Matt Arroyo, and then my striking coach down here, Dan Rawlings, and I kind of split my camps. I'm based. My home is Long Island, and I'll be training there, and then I'll come down to Tampa. Sometimes when I'm back home, my bed is a little soft. I get a little comfortable back home. My woman making me all my meals, doing my laundry. I get comfortable fast, and then I got to get a little switch up. So I go down to Tampa, and it kind of lights a little fire under my ass down there. And then I come back home to Long Island, and I got a great schedule with both my teams from Sarah Longo and Gracie Tampa South. And I think me splitting up the camp that way is definitely good. Yeah,
a little change of scenery is always good. I got to ask you, are you an NFL fan at all?
Yeah, man, I'm a Jets fan. It's a rough year.
Yeah, well, hopefully you get a quarterback in next year's draft, but I have to ask that because you said you trained out of Tampa. I've been a Tampa Bay Bucks fan. I know it's random being up in Canada here, but for like 20 years. So
that's awesome, man. I'm rooting for the Bucks too. Tom Brady's bring the Bucks to the promised land.
Yeah, just hoping for a big win on Sunday. They already lost to the Saints twice, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, the career thus far, you're on a 2-fight win streak. Obviously, you had the draw before that. You're riding high right now, and you're fighting a guy that's never lost. Otman Azatar, he looked good out of his last fight, but just what do you bring to the table, and how do you feel about this matchup? And it could vault you into some pretty good matches. So how do you feel going into this, basically?
Yeah, I love this matchup. He's an undefeated fighter, and it doesn't get better than that. And he's got all these first round finishes too, which really excites me. And then, fighting an undefeated fighter on a Conor McGregor pay-per-view card doesn't get bigger than that. And that really, really motivates me and excites me. And, he's very good, very, very talented, a great striker, a lot of knockouts, but he hasn't been tested. And that's what I do when I fight. I test people. And, one of the things that I do best is mixing up all the martial arts. And it comes most natural to me, with the wrestling, with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, with the Muay Thai, and putting it all together in the cage. And that's what I plan on doing with this guy, and dragging him to deep water and drowning him, seeing what he's got.
And usually, from guys I've talked to in the past and just fights that I've watched in the past, if a guy's undefeated, some of their first losses are when they're dragged into deep water, right? Like some of them haven't been to the third round before. And I just like how you put that. That's how you fight. And that's how, how this fight may end, taking him to the third and seeing what he's got as a fighter, right? So look forward to seeing that. Leading up to a fight, you got you got your training camp, however long that may be. You got your weight cut, you got the fight. What do you like to do after the fights just to let a load off? Is it a big meal? Is it a drink? Is it to hang out with family? What do you got going on?
All of the above.
Yeah.
I'm going back home to Long Island, and I got my fiance picking me up from the airport with Sinelli's grandma pie, some pizza. Sinelli's Pizza, the best pizza in Long Island. So I'll be eating a nice pie as soon as I get off that plane. Then the next day I'm gonna get me a nice bacon, egg, and cheese. I'm gonna relax, and it's gonna be nice. I work so hard during these camps. I'm very disciplined, and life is about balance. So I'm doing everything right now, and then after the fight. No matter what happens, I'm gonna relax a little, and it's gonna be earned, and it's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be way sweeter after a nice victory. So
yeah,
I'm ready to go out there and handle the business, and then relax a little, and then get right back to it.
Handle the business and then deserve the pleasure. I like that. Last segment here between rounds. I'm gonna ask you a question. There'll be a couple answers you may want to say. Okay. Favorite kind of food to eat?
Pizza.
I thought I got that from the last one. Favorite sport other than MMA?
Football.
Lacrosse third?
Lacrosse I love lacrosse. It's a phenomenal sport.
And are you more of a field lacrosse or a box lacrosse guy?
Field lacrosse.
Yeah. Favorite getaway spot in New York? I've never been. Lots of people haven't been. Well, where would you tell them to go to?
Out in Montauk is beautiful. The beach is beautiful out in Montauk. The waves are pretty big sometimes, and it's nice out there.
If you had to pick another country other than the States, what would be your favorite country to visit?
I love Thailand.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that. I got to go there for sure when all this crap ends.
It's amazing out there.
Favorite kind of music?
Music, I have a very wide if I like it, I like it. I like all different kinds of music, but I'll say rock.
Cool. Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie has got to be Rocky IV.
Yeah, solid. Good pick. I got a couple of fights for you just to break down. So, how do you think Chandler and Hooker goes? Since it's in their same weight class.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. I've been a fan of Michael Chandler's for a long time. I actually saw him today checking in. It was pretty cool. I didn't want to ask him for a picture yet, but eventually I got to get a picture of Michael Chandler.
Yeah, you can get a picture with him once you get that shot to beat him. Too. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. I thought he would be. I thought he was shorter, but he's not as short as you think.
That's what I've heard. I heard he's a little shorter than what people think.
No, he was taller than I thought he was going to be shorter.
All right.
I thought he was going to be shorter, but yeah, it was cool. I'm excited to see him in the octagon. 100%. Finally, under the UFC banner. But he's got a very tough task ahead of him with Hooker, and I think him being in the UFC for the first time might get to him, and I think Hooker is built to beat those kinds of fighters in Chandler, and I think Hooker's going to hit him with that knee. He hit Miller with, and he's hit Felder. A lot of people.
Felder. He hit Felder with some of those knees too. That was a great fight.
Yeah. Hooker's got that long knee that he hits these guys with. I think he's going to catch him on, and I think Hooker's going to get it done.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's going to be a close fight, but if he throws that knee, it's got to be well timed because I know Chandler wants to mix it up and take him down too. We'll see what happens, but I could go with Hooker on that pick. What about Poirier and Connor?
That's another going to be a phenomenal fight. I definitely think it's going to be different than the first time they fought, and I'm rooting for Poirier just because I always root for the Americans. If out of that one, I definitely got to go with the American in that one. But I wouldn't put any money on it.
Yeah. Probably won't be either.
Yeah, like I'm not confident enough to put any money on that one, but
yeah.
we'll see.
We'll see. We'll leave the best to the last here. Frevola and Azatar. How does that fight finish, and who comes out victorious?
Like you just said, finish. I'm gonna finish him, and that's big. It doesn't matter if it's first round, doesn't matter if it's second round, doesn't matter if it's third round. I'm going in there for the finish. Doesn't matter if it's a submission, doesn't matter if it's a TKO, doesn't matter if it's a knockout. I want to go out there and finish him. So that's what I'll say.
Yeah, I like that. And I also, you before talking about, mixing up the martial arts, it doesn't matter how, right? And that's how you put it there at the end. It's wherever it goes to, you'll finish it however it may be, right? Or whatever opening you see, you're going to take advantage of. And very excited to see that fight. Any sponsors, shout outs, or social media to finish up?
Yeah, you can follow like my whole journey to Fight Island and Fight Week and all that at Steamroller Frevola _MMA. And then shout out to my gyms, the Saralongo Fight Team, Gracie Tamp South, Acceleration Sports Trading, my apparel sponsor, No Judges Needed. And then the CBD has been helping me out a lot this camp, Sonny's Wellness. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so first of all, good luck with Francisco Lindor and the Mets this year.
Yeah.
But also good luck to the Blue Jays as well. I'm really happy to have you on today. Looking forward to your fight on January 23rd, a week from Saturday. Fights are back, and there's no better way to kick off a McGregor card than having you on there. You got Otman Azatar, and you're going to make that a 1. You're going to make that loss the first in his column. Good luck to you. This is Hooks In MMA. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
No problem. Good luck. You take care.
You too, man. Have a good one.
You too. Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have 7-0 fighter, lightweight from Alberta, fighting out of Grand Prairie, originally from Paraguay, Alex Martinez. How's it going today?
Hey. How are you? I'm doing good.
Good, thanks. We're happy to have you on. Just talk about quickly, you grew up in Paraguay. When did you move over to Canada? And I guess why did you do that?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Paraguay pretty much all my childhood. And then I moved to Canada when I was 14, just about to turn 15. And the reason why we moved was because my dad got an offer to come and work in Canada. And of course, being a first world country, he did not want to pass out on that opportunity. So he decided to come down first. He kind of checked out if it was going to be a good place for us. And then he brought all the family down, and we've been here since then.
Awesome. So what were some of your hobbies in Paraguay? And then when you moved over here, had you already started training? What got you into MMA?
Well, I always been involved in martial arts. It's like something that I've been doing since childhood. And my hobbies were, like typical South American country. We play a lot of soccer and stuff, like a lot of activity, go play outside. Like my hobbies were just what any kid in South America would pretty much have, which is a lot of soccer, just, play tag and stuff with the kids. It was awesome. So good childhood.
Yeah, that's great. What discipline of MMA did you start first, and how did it transition into being a complete mixed martial artist?
Well, when I was a kid, my dad actually was a Taekwondo practitioner. So Taekwondo ITF, which is the one that comes from North Korea mostly. Then, well, I kind of grew up into it, to be honest. Like he was practicing himself first, and then the more he got into it, he kind of really loved it, and he started teaching after a while. When he started teaching, I had no choice but just to kind of go into it. My dad loved martial arts. And, I grew up with it, so it became a part of me. And Taekwondo is my main thing. Of course, now that I'm an MMA fighter, I'm pretty well-rounded. I'm all over the place. The Taekwondo is still my main martial art, but at the same time, just because the sport kind of molded me more into more of a grappler, to be honest. But I'm pretty well-rounded, I would say. I've been doing this now for 7 years, going to 8. And in MMA, you cannot stay, in one aspect of martial arts. You have to be well-rounded, otherwise people will take advantage of you when it comes down to fighting, right? So it's important to well-round yourself all over the areas.
Great way to put it. Currently, what gym are you at, and who are the coaches in your corner for each fight?
Yeah, so right now I'm training out of Champion Gym in Gladiators Martial Arts. So Gladiator Martial Arts is my family's. That's where I train my Taekwondo and my striking. And then I train out of Champion Gym, where is my MMA part, like when it comes down to wrestling, MMA, grappling area. And my main coaches are Bill Mahood, Luis Martinez, which is my father actually, and Adam Link, which is my wrestling coach. So he's a very, very good wrestling coach. He used to be actually part of the Canadian team for wrestling. So yeah, he's been out there pretty well. But at the same time, I also go down to Vancouver. I learn train with Kajan Johnson and get some stuff done with Bibiano Fernandez as well. And I also go down to Montreal and train under Firas Zahabi. So, and as well as Sandro Fer, who is my striking coach when I go down there. So, I have three main coaches, like I said, Bill, Luis, and Adam Link. And then I have my other coaches that really help me out to keep involved.
Yeah, those names you mentioned there, you can't have anyone better in your corner than that, helping you train and helping you develop. Just, your career thus far, you recently just got a guillotine finish about a month ago. Congratulations on that. Thanks,
man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, that puts you at 7-0. And, reading a lot of articles, people talking about some big things for you coming up in 2021. So again, congrats on that win. How do
Thanks,
you...
man.
Yeah, how do you see 2021 working out for you? What do you have planned, if anything, and what would you like to do?
Well, of course, we're aiming for the UFC. Actually, I used to fight for Brave CF before, and that was an amazing promotion. They treat me so well. But my aim was always to get to the big dog, which is the UFC. I was never married to the idea. But, sorry, my screen just blank. I was never married to the idea just because of, the opportunities MMA can go anywhere, there is always so many good promotions that can offer you even better deals than the UFC. But I mean, at the same time, my heart was always kind of like, always wanted to go to the UFC just because the exposure and the representation. I always wanted to represent myself and my family and also my country itself, where I was born in Paraguay, down in the UFC, because there is not many Paraguayans in the UFC. Well, there's none right now. There was only one so far. And I want to be the second or the third, whoever comes first, because there's a few ones working their way up there, and as well as to represent Canada, because Canada is my home too, right? I mean, my whole family is from Canada. My wife is from Canada, and my sponsors and my teammates are all from Canada. So like, I'm very excited to represent my nations in the biggest stage as possible. And what I'm expecting for this year, of course, I want the best. I want the biggest and the best, and that means the UFC. I would like to jump in the UFC, get my shot in there, and do my best, and go as far as possible as I can. But at the same time, I also do know that there's a lot of politics playing in this game, especially now with all the coronavirus stuff going on. So if I need to keep on fighting just in other promotions to be able to keep building my name, then I will do so. But I'm already expecting the big show. We've been talking about it for a bit already to be in there. Things just didn't give in. So I was like, well, I need to make some money, so I need to fight right away. Instead of waiting for it, we took the chance and we went and fought in Mexico. And it turned out pretty well. Of course, you never know that it will go well till you have your hand raised, right? I mean, this is fighting, so doesn't matter who you fight. You can go there, have a bad day, and you can come out, as a loser. So it's important to, always be focused and always be ready. But I'm expecting the best. I would like to fight 4 times this year. That's what I say in 2020. But we'll see how it goes, right? I mean, I only got to fight one time last year, and I wanted to fight 4 to 5 times. This year is kind of the same at the same time, but I'm sure just because all the restrictions going on, I might end up fighting probably 2 to 3 times. Who knows?
So leading up to a fight, you got a big training camp. You got your weight cut. You got the actual fight. What do you like to do for fun after?
I'm a pretty active guy. Like I used to. There was something called, I think, post event depression, I believe it was. It's like when you have a lot of, normally singers or like people that do big events get it a lot. It's like after they've done a big event, you have there's so much hype into it, and there's so much adrenaline going through it, that after, when you're done that, you become so depressed. And I used to go through that a lot. So now I make sure that I schedule in something right after every single fight. Like, for example, something that I do quite often actually now is after every single fight, I just adventure out whatever city I go to. So, for example, this last time I went down to San Carlos, Mexico, and I make sure to schedule like an extra 5 days just to stay in there. And I go and explore, and I relax, and I go check the places. I always like to train in new places too, so I try to always get a training somewhere there. And then I just try to enjoy as much as possible. I like to distract myself. I'm always doing something active. So, like for example, I actually just came from a skiing trip. To be honest, I just went down on the weekend, so I always do something active. Something that has to do with your physical always getting better, and yeah, enjoy with the family, I guess. So distract my mind as much as possible. Because there's so much talk after the fights.
For sure. And I like how you put that, because anyone I've ever talked to has never had like a strategic plan after. It's kind of like, I'm going to eat some bad food, or, some people want to grab a few drinks or whatever. But I like that you actually.
That's in there too.
Yeah. I like that you plan out something to do, because it's something to look forward to, and it stops the, post-fight, maybe a decline, right? So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So you said about family. Do you have family yourself, or it's like your parents? You have brothers, sisters, whatever.
Yeah, well, I have my wife, so she's my family, and then I have a puppy, so I consider that my family too. And then I have my main family is in here, so my mom, dad, sister, little brother, and now my sister has her own family too. So now she actually just had a little son there, so now I have a nephew. So
awesome.
Those are the ones living in Canada. Then I have all my the big extended family down in Paraguay. And then there's my wife's family, which I'm very close to them too. So, I consider myself have a pretty big family in Canada as well as Paraguay. And yeah, so I get to spend lots of time with them all the time. So
that's awesome. We finish up each interview with between round segments. I'm going to ask you a question. You just give your best answer. Okay.
Yeah, man.
What's your favorite kind of food to eat?
Peanut butter and toast.
I like it. Favorite sport other than MMA?
Man, that's a tough one. I like rugby, boxing, and boxing. Yeah.
I just retired from rugby a few years ago, so I know.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. I enjoy rugby. I don't watch it though. That's the thing. I love it so much, but I never watch any other sports, to be honest.
Yeah. That's.
But I love it. Yeah.
In either Canada or Paraguay, if someone had never been to those countries, what's a good place to go to? An underrated place?
Yeah, I think in Canada, it's got to be in the BC area, like Lake Louise. I go to Vernon a lot, actually. It's a beautiful place. There's the Jasper area. So like in the mountains, like in the Rocky Mountains are many, many beautiful places for Canada. And then in Paraguay, there is a lot of like hidden beauties in Paraguay. Normally, if you go to the cities, you won't find those. You kind of have to like adventure out. But I would say now, to be honest, something that's really hitting up there, it would be my main city, which is Encarnacion. I think that city looks so beautiful right now. They redid everything, and I'm actually excited to go down there. I haven't been there for a while, so yeah, I would say hit up Encarnacion in Paraguay as well.
Something to look forward to. If you exclude Canada and Paraguay, what's your favorite country in the world?
South Africa. I fell in love with that. Went down in Cape Town, and I don't know. I just fell in love with South Africa. So there's just something about it.
Favorite kind of music?
I like classic rock. I like pretty much all type of genres. I actually train to all genres. I switch it around every so often, but classic rock is one of my favorites.
Favorite movie of all time?
Rocky series.
And who's a couple of your favorite fighters of all time?
Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre. I really look up to them. Of course, the main ones like Fedor Emelianenko. There's so many great fighters. Who else? Oh man, I'm kind of blanking out a little bit, but I have so many fighters that I look forward up to. But like I said, one of my main ones always been Anderson Silva. He's actually the one that got me into MMA. I just really got excited watching his fights. Then George St. Pierre is another big one. Of course, the Canadian GOAT.
If GSP comes back, do you think he can beat Khabib?
Oh heck yeah, I think he can beat Khabib for sure.
I like that. Sponsors, shout outs, or social media to finish up.
Yes, I want to actually shout out to the sponsors that really helped me out this year in 2020. It was a tough year financially. So I want to say DJ Golden, thank you very much for being there for me. Enviro Home, they helped me out a lot. They always find me for my training camps. SilverTech as well. He's actually the company of my coach Adam. So he helped me out big time this year as well. I have so many other sponsors that I would like to reach out. Another big one that really helped me out this year was And I should have wrote all of this down.
That's okay.
Bar None right here. You know, I'm actually wearing his hat. That's so funny. Bar None Mechanical, of course, as well. They always make sure I'm well taken care of. And those are the main ones that really stepped forward and helped me out this year. Of course, Popeyes as well. Popeyes Grand Party. They always like give me supplements. And yeah, those are the main ones that I always like step forward, and I don't even have to ask them. You know, they come forward and say, Alex, what do you need? And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on today and giving us some time. 7-0, Alex Martinez, looking for a big 2021 coming up. Lots of fights and hopefully a call from the big show. We wish nothing but the best for you, and we know you can do it. You've shown it, and you just need that, that call, that letter, that need that signature to sign, and you're going to put your name on the dot, and you're going to do what you do. So we appreciate it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. And we'll see what it brings, and we're ready for it. So let's do it.
Well, good luck. And thanks again, Alex Martinez. This is Hooks in MMA. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, yeah.